open beta is behind us, and so now is the time to assess what we learned. Is AoE 4 worth the 60 euros, and should you pre-order it? Now, how is the game? Actually, pretty good. First of all, the sound is truly my favorite part of the game. I absolutely fell in love with the sound design of this game. The music is smooth. When you give unit commands, it feels like they're actually trying to shout at you, trying to be heard. Scout whistles and shouts when they find an enemy. The sound gives AoE 4 games such a good atmosphere. Except the town bell. That can get quite annoying, and to me it sounds a bit too similar to the duck. The visuals are also wonderful. The nature is breathtaking, the buildings are gorgeous. What I really want to highlight are the little details, like little fences being generated around houses. When you build the buildings next to each other, they connect in a road, and it really feels satisfying to build the town. Now, I know that this is a really debated topic. A lot of people love it and a lot of people don't. But I think it's only about getting used to it. I mean, after a weekend of playing AoE 4, I went back to AoE 2 and got shocked at how different the game looks. Another thing I really like is that you get the incentive to properly build your city. I expect the games will not be as quickly done as many AoE 3 matches. The town center shoots on its own and can actually pack a huge punch, offering very nice protection. I quite support this approach, as to me, proper base building was always a big aspect of why I play these games. It's satisfying to see your city develop into a huge empire, and I like to see it here too. That said, it is probably just a speculation right now. The meta has not evolved yet at all. Balance changes will come to an effect after the game is out, so if the developers want to make it very quick-paced, it is still very much an option. Hell, even now, using English, you can be knocking on your opponent's door with a group of archers in 6 minutes, followed by early men-at-arms with battering rams to breach through the buildings. The English seem to be a bit too strong for now, but can always be adjusted. Talking about units, one of the first units you get is the Scout. This guy, or girl, has the early task to find sheep. Unlike any other game in the franchise, sheep actually hop behind the Scout, following him until he takes them to the town center. The scouting feels very smooth and is given big emphasis as there is no score and the developers want you to rely on scouting to find any information about the opponent. And one of my favorite units, the Trebuchet. Oh my god, this thing has the best sound effect. I cannot stress enough how I love the sound here. The civilizations are very interesting, each bringing something else to the table. I see the devs took the approach of AoE 3 and Age of Mythology, which a lot of people actually compared it to as well. The big differences between the civs will make the learning curve a bit steeper, but it will be much more unique. The last few things I want to praise are the walls, which you can actually mount with archers now, and you need siege to actually destroy these. Normal units cannot damage them or even shoot over them. Buildings get set on fire, and if not repaired, they will actually burn down. And ships? Ships look very solid. And now let's get to the things I don't like so much. And first of all, what the hell is the scaling of this horse? How is this unit as tall as the building it's produced from? I don't get it. The units, especially horses, feel clunky, as if they are some sort of giants walking over the land of mortals. It feels very similar to units in AoE 3, and maybe because it's also a 3D game, but to me it kills the whole vibe of the game. The units do not fit at all. Archers just can't miss now, which is probably not the biggest deal for casual gamers, but it takes a lot from the competitive scene. How many times have we seen insane micro in the hands of pros, like the Viper, dodging arrows, mangonel shots, splitting his army to mitigate the damage. All of this makes the games so much more interesting to watch, always keeping you at the edge of the seat, just waiting to see who's gonna come out better. That is not really possible here. Quick walling, another essential part of AoE 2, notably not so much of AoE 3, also not possible. Now, I'm not saying these are deal breakers, I just hope something exciting will come up and it won't be just two armies smashing at each other without anything. There are also things like it's zoomed too close, so hills just feel incredibly up your face. The siege feels a bit strange, but that's maybe just because I'm not used to it. I first questioned how could the siege operate by itself without being manned, but then I remembered they do the same thing in AoE 2 and I never questioned that anyway. So yeah. But that's what I have about the negatives. Overall, a pretty good game actually. During the Red Bull World Cup for AoE 2, a few interviews with the devs were recorded. It was confirmed that the game is meant to be a mix between the AoE 2 and AoE 3. The civilizations are semi-unique.
You know, we're doing what we would call semi-asymmetrical civilizations. And that means that there are some things that are core to the game that will never change. Like you will always have a pikeman type unit, a cavalry type unit, and an archer type unit in any civilization you play in Age of Empires 4.
Something interesting that was said about the campaigns, they intend to cover a big chunk of history with them, not only focusing on one person in history anymore.
They'll highlight people. For instance, Joan of Arc turns up in a 100 Years' War campaign, but the campaign is not solely about Joan and her journey. It's about the whole of the conflict and all the events within that.
Developers are really trying to push the historical accuracy, which is something I'm looking forward to a lot. The first update to the game was already announced as well, dating to the early next year, when Seasons for multiplayer hit. And so, yeah, will you be getting AoE 4 when it comes out? What do you like about it? Let me know in the comments. And until then, see ya!